This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 32 of Healthy Critters Radio on the Horse Radio Network. Healthy Critters Radio is brought to you by Biostar US. Find them online at biostarus.com.
On today's show, we discuss what's in our barn first aid kits, how to decide which oils to feed your horse. In Critter Nutrition, we talk about tweaking formulas. And in Coffee Klatch, we talk about our favorite funny riding experience. This is Tigger Montague.
And this is Patty Perucci, and you're listening to Healthy Critters Radio on the Horse Radio Network.
So Patty P, what's up?
Tigger, I have not told you something I've done.
Oh God, I'm scared.
Well, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's actually, you know me well enough to know. I went to an acupuncturist for the first time.
Awesome.
I know. And I have decided that I'm going to make an honest attempt to try and take better care of myself, which is really hard because I live with me all the time and I'm a whole lot of person to deal with. But and it was really interesting because our good mutual friend Nancy Murray knows a gal that's not far from here and really highly recommended her. But she does two different types of acupuncture, one where they don't use needles at all. And so if you kind of go in and you're a little bit overwhelmed by the idea, and I'm not afraid of needles, but I'm highly sensitive to weird, things like that. And it really was, I know you're going, hello. But you
don't want to know what I'm doing right now.
Oh, well, no, what? I can't even imagine.
I mean, I'm laughing so hard the tears are rolling down my face.
Because you're going, hello. But it was, she didn't kick me out of the room right away because I was like, yeah, I want to do this, but I don't want you to touch me with needles. And she's like, huh. But it ended up being really fine. But it was an interesting experience. And I'm doing it so that when I, ride, I can feel, continue to feel very even and stay very balanced. But I have tennis elbow and it's really affected me all the way up through my shoulder. And I really am I'm beginning to notice when I ride that I don't feel as even. And I've always prided myself on being very square in the saddle. So anyway, it really was an interesting experience. And the big thing is that I definitely noticed a difference in my elbow, which is fascinating because it's been, at least 8 weeks of pretty resonating pain, and it's gone. Not completely gone, but it's gone. And I didn't have to do any steroid shots or any stupid crap that everybody kept suggesting. So I'm so thrilled. So it's cool.
Well, this is very synchronistic.
Why?
Because I've started getting body work from a guy named Jean-Pierre.
Oh.
And he does body work and applies acupuncture in coordination with the body work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have nicknamed him Jean-Pierre Desaad,
okay.
as in the Marquis de Sade, as in sadist.
I'm sure he really likes you.
When he works on me, it hurts so badly for seconds,
right?
That I threaten to kill him, kick him, bite him, and then and then the pain's gone, and I feel so much better. But what I love about him is he does horses, he does dogs, and he does humans, and he comes to your house.
See, that's pretty nice.
So you do have moments of pain, but then afterwards, I feel like all my energy has been sort of recirculated or rearranged, and my feet aren't as cold.
Oh, good. Oh, wow. Okay.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
And my knee is really good. So he just opens up all these meridians of energy to my knee. Yeah.
And I had that experience. I had a meridian go down the right, like she put a needle in, and it was almost, I'm trying to, like, I have in my mind, I don't know how to describe it, but she put the needle in and I felt, I guess it was a meridian open, and it was sort of like it filled up with water, or, that it was just the weirdest feeling. And it wasn't, and that's the big thing, is that, what I just didn't want to go in and have a painful experience at all. Like, I wasn't interested in that. And I did. And it was amazing how much more I could handle than I thought I could, which I'm sure happens all the time. I mean, obviously you've done this a little more than I have, and you can handle more. But it was really a balance. It really made me feel so much more centered and balanced. And she, and I think a lot of horse trainers have to have a certain amount of boundless energy, because you're doing this all day long and you want to stay, focused and energized for every rider and every horse. And, I find that by a certain part of the day, I'm just exhausted. And I just wasn't today, which was interesting. It was like definitely a different feeling. So I'm excited. I'm gonna go back next week and do it again.
And I'm getting my next treatment Thursday. So
oh, cool. Okay, well, we can check in.
I'll think of you.
Yeah, I'll think of you. Oh, that's so cool.
So let's get on with the show.
Let's do it. Yeah.
If you have any acupuncture experiences, go to healthycrittersradio.com and let us know about them.
I accidentally jabbed myself with my wire brush. Does that count?
Yes,
I think so.
Totally.
Totally counts. Cool.
Yes, it totally counts.
Yeah.
Well, in lieu of a guest this week, we're going to have a little chit chat about emergency kits, and that's coming up.
So what is in your typical first aid kits in your barns? What are some of the important things that you would not go without? You would always want to have on hand.
Well, Tigger, my and your very number one thing that you have for everything.
What?
Oh, come on. We're going to write a book someday. It's going to be, I think we're up to like 2.
Coconut oil.
Of course. I have coconut oil for everything. Everything.
That's funny, coconut oil.
Well, but we had a thing going there for a couple years.
101 uses of coconut
101
oil.
uses for coconut oil.
And then you would, and then I started using it as lip balm, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was such a great idea. And then we just kept going on. It's so good to get, like, if they have bumpy stuff on their skin and you just let it sit on there and then it just comes right off. I mean, that's good. You can use it. I mean, because if you say first aid kit, you're thinking of horses and people, right?
Hey, I got a question. Can you take coconut oil and rub it on their forehead and then peel it off later to get the stupid out of them?
I don't think that's a thing.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. So what do you have, Tigger?
So I have colloidal silver.
Of course you do.
Yeah. Because it's
I should have said it. Can you ask me again? I want to say that one.
a great antibiotic.
Yeah.
And I have Bach flower rescue remedy, just
Oh.
in case a horse is really stressed and I want to get a homeopathic into them really quickly.
Okay.
How about you, Jennifer?
I don't have anything that interesting. Gosh.
Okay. What do you have? Now I want to know.
Well, I always have a couple of bottles of
Wine?
of wine. Yeah.
I was going to say that earlier, but I thought that wasn't appropriate for myself. Okay,
There you go.
sorry.
I love that.
I keep a couple of bottles of water, the little quarts, the little size that you carry around all the time in the barn. And I always have a Ziploc baggie full of salt packets that I've stolen from various and sundry restaurants. Yes, I'm an old person. But you can put the salt packet in the bottle of water and then you shake it up. And then you just poke a hole in the bottom of the bottled water because the bottles are so thin and you can squirt it. It's really handy. Because that way, if you don't have running water, you can still rinse out wounds with the saline solution.
Oh.
It's very handy.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's what I carry on the road with me, because you buy a bottle of saline and it's $5.99 for 8 ounces, and it's going to go bad, right? You're not going to probably use it, and that just drove me crazy because I would go to use it and go, "Oh, this is a year and a half old," or I'd have to buy a new one. And I go, "Wait a minute, this will work." So I always keep a couple of those around. And what else do I have that's just like, Gotta have that. Always have fly masks around because they're great for keeping eyeballs in the shade and things like that when they get eyeball injuries, and they always seem to get eyeball injuries at the wrong time.
Of course.
Yeah.
When is an eyeball injury good?
Yeah,
Never.
Yeah. And you know what else is really handy? Those dumb little headlamps that you can buy online.
I have one of those too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great for peering into the deep, dark crevices of hooves and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Tigger,
I'm
another
big
really good one.
on vet wrap and 4x4s.
Gotta have a jillion of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
And betadine.
And about that, I have betadine down because that's obviously a staple.
That's a necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Vet wrap
the
betadine.
basic triple antibiotic.
Yep.
Very handy. Yes.
Yeah, very handy.
Very handy. You know, something that I found useful over the years is you can buy something called an anticoagulant bandage.
Oh, that's
which,
interesting.
well, you know what an anticoagulant.
Yeah.
Instead of using a blood stop powder,
Right.
sometimes you
Right.
want to put the bandage on.
Right.
Because you put the powder on, well, then you got to put something on top of the powder to make the powder stay. And you can get little, they look like a 4x4 square, but they've got the blood stop stuff in them. And you splat them on there, and then you attach it to the critter with tape or vet wrap, whatever you want. And they're darned handy when you're in the middle of a cluster on the road. I like having those around.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like Melaleuca honey. If you're trying to be,
Yeah.
Don't you mean Manuka honey?
but did I say Melaleuca? Manuka.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I said Melaleuca. No, I've started my own honey. Manuka. It's Melaleuca Manuka. Yes, Manuka honey. I got that from Lieselot. That was such a good thing that she taught me.
Yeah. That's a super honey.
Oh, it's a great honey.
Antibiotic, antibacterial.
Yeah. So what else? What else does everybody have?
Bandage scissors.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
The kind that will cut pennies. Those really tough ones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, these are the nice ones that you can cut vet wrap with because I'm not good at ripping it.
Oh, no. When you try to rip the vet wrap, you basically ruin an entire roll of vet wrap. Is what you do.
Exactly.
Oh, I know. And I hate that.
Yeah.
And of course the thermometer.
Thermometer.
Oh,
and
now are you digital or old school?
Digital.
I'm the 3-second one.
Ugh, old school.
Yeah. I've broken too many of those.
Oh.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I have had the
Yeah.
same thermometer for 30 years.
Is
Oh,
that
wow.
right?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Same thermometer, same hole punch.
Isn't that fun?
Wow.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Do I like? Oh,
Another good thing
Go ahead.
is Animal Intex.
Oh,
I always
they're
say
handy.
Animal Intex.
And a poultice. I always have
Yep.
poultice material.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I tend to keep dried poultice powder around rather than a bucket of pre-made poultice because I use it so rarely. If I go to use it, it's dried up and turned into a brick.
That's so smart.
You should get some of Biostar's dry poultice.
Yeah, you guys make dry poultice. What's it called again?
Yeah.
We have Origin and Hoof and Soul.
And yours has the doesn't it have like the Dead Sea
Has-
salts and
Yeah,
good
it
stuff
has
in it?
super clays in it. I mean,
Yeah.
clays nobody else would use.
yeah, it's the good stuff, and the salt is so essential for a poultice.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it comes in dry form, so I can make it myself, right?
Yeah, you just buy the dry form and keep it in your tack box, and when you need it, add some apple cider vinegar or water, and you got
Yeah.
poultice.
Oh, apple cider
Wow.
vinegar is a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what else do I have in there that's odd that somebody might not have? Because of course you have
Yeah.
all the usuals, you know. You know something I
Yeah.
keep in my emergency kit at all times? Shoelaces.
Shoelaces.
It's amazing what you can
Interesting.
fix with a shoelace.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I have duct tape.
And duct tape.
Yeah, duct.
It's
I love me some duct tape.
It marries well with duct tape. Yeah.
I have
You
leopard
can
print duct
do
tape.
Anything with duct tape, almost.
It's true. Yeah. That's true. But duct tape.
I mean,
duct
I
tape is.
fixed fences temporarily with duct
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You bet. But you know, when you're in a real pinch and your horse breaks the crown piece on his halter, you can repair it with a couple of shoelaces if you have to.
Wow.
Interesting.
I would have gone with duct tape.
Me too. I would have gone with duct tape.
Shoelaces, better tensile strength.
Wow.
Okay. Well, now we know.
Although, if you wanted to, you could make an entirely new crown piece with layers of duct tape. Now that you say that, punch holes in
Well,
it, and you're
having
done.
said that, one of the young men that used to work for me is amazing with duct tape. Andy, as you know, Tigger.
Yeah.
And Andy, he was just so funny. Every Christmas, we would do a Secret Santa where everybody would have a gift. And I would always make it $10 or under, which actually is harder than you think. And it had to be interesting and funny. And every year, Andy's thing was about $10 worth of duct tape. And he would make a package, or he'd wrap it in duct tape. And it was unbelievable. And there was another year where somebody's wallet was stolen. So he made them a wallet out of duct tape, like like a billfold, like a man's billfold. True story. True story. It was for Kelly Farmer. And he put in red duct tape KF, and then you open it up. I don't even know how he did it. And he duct tape it, duct tape backed onto each other. It was like a little billfold. She could put her credit cards in it, and she could put money. I'm serious. I'll show it to you, Tigger. It is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Well, the other person that comes to mind that is a whiz with duct tape is Jim Coford. Not
Yes,
in an
that's true.
artistic sense, but
Yes.
I mean, he'll ride in boots that
Yes.
are held together with duct tape.
Yes, I
around
have
the
seen
foot.
that. We've all seen that. In fact, it's amazing what he can get done with duct tape.
It is.
Yeah.
It's probably the most essential thing you can have in your barn.
I think so. I truly believe
And
so.
hay string.
And hay string.
Hay string.
And that's another thing. Hay string isn't what it used to be. This fancy
No,
schmancy new
it's-
plastic hay string, don't
I
like
don't like them at all.
it. No.
Oh, I haven't dealt with that.
And another thing I found very useful a while back when I had a horse that had a degloving injury.
Oh,
Yeah, it was nasty. So there was a lot of ooze involved for a couple of weeks.
Ugh.
And I found disposable incontinence pads they make for beds.
mm-hmm.
Invaluable, because it would just soak right through the bandage, and then the bandage would stick, and it was like, ugh. And they were fabulous and a lot less bulky than a diaper.
Wow.
And for injuries that are gonna be oozy. Yeah, they were great. So I always kept a
Oh,
box
wow.
of those around.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So that's Healthy Critters first aid kit tips of the week.
There you go.
Tell us what you have in your kit. We want to know.
Yeah. Let us
That's
know
right.
if we missed anything, or if you use something that we haven't mentioned.
We want to hear about it. Absolutely. Hi, Hedwig.
How are you?
I'm doing lovely today. It's my turn to ask you a question. I'm very excited.
Talk to me. I am going to give you the facts.
Give me the facts. Oh, I so
The
appreciate
honest
that.
truth.
We need
There will be no alternative truth.
no
Just
alternative
the one
truth.
truth. The truth of Hetty.
The truth
The
of
truth.
Hetty. Absolutely.
The head truth.
We want to know, should doggies' toys, and I realize that you're probably above doggy toys, but other dogs do play with doggy toys. Should doggy toys have squeakers or not?
Well, I am a newfound expert on this question, for I have a small mutant gerbil brother, and he loves toys. Yes, our entire life is now his toys. And if I may say, the most irritating one is the squeaky lamb toy, which he likes to play with in the middle of the night.
Oh.
The middle of the night. Why would you begin squeaking a lamb toy in the middle of the night, you little mutant gerbil freak? This is why you have no friends.
Can you tell our listeners what breed of gerbil your new brother is?
The little mutant gerbil freak has a breed? They raise him intentionally?
Yes.
Oh.
So you recommend
No.
no squeaker?
Well, for the evening hours, at the very least, the squeaky lamb toy should be put somewhere else, like, oh, I don't know, the road.
Mhm.
Our friend Sabi stole the squeaky worm toy. Thank you, Sabi, you precious creature. You best animal unite among knights.
Yeah, Sabi goes into the bedroom where the gerbil puppy and the Pomeranian queens live, and he steals the toys. This is
Which
my
is fine.
Australian Shepherd. Oh yeah.
No problem. Have the ball. No worries.
So,
Oh,
as a
yeah.
follow-up question, Hedwig, in your opinion, and your opinion is the opinion, what
Of course.
is the ideal dog toy?
Well, I never wanted to play with toys until we got the gerbil. And then it turns out there's this thing. It's like a little pacifier ring with little nubs on it. I just go to town. I just chew and chew and chew and chew and chew my head off. It's perfect. It's a nylabone, apparently, dental chew, and I love it like I have never loved an item in my entire life.
Do you love it as much as cheese, Hedwig?
I love it so much more than cheese because it doesn't die at
Oh
the
my
end.
goodness.
boy.
Oh my goodness. So
Oh,
now we know
boy.
knobbly, nylabone, round nubbly
Wow.
toys are the thing to have. Now we
Yeah.
know.
Perfect toy.
Well, thank
I
you, Hedwig.
can just spend hours with it.
Thank you,
I
Hedwig. Well,
bet.
we would
Yeah.
love to spend hours with you, but I know you have important things to take care of this evening, and we wanted to say thank you very much for spending a little time with us. And you go on over there and enjoy your nylabone knobbly dental chew.
Should we ever get home? I'm sure I will. Thank you so much for your kind-hearted good wishes.
Bye-bye,
Oh,
Hedwig.
jeez.
We had
Thanks,
to
Hetty.
put ice boots on the horse.
Ah.
Ah.
All right.
All right.
Well-
Good night, all.
Bye.
Night.
Night.
And now it's time for the breed of the show.
So we're now at the Tigopedia section of our show. And Tigger, our question for you today, and it's a very good one, is how do you decide what type of oil to give your horse?
So I'm going to answer that by talking about the quality of the oils,
Okay.
because that for me is where you start with an oil choice.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is there are a number of oils like canola and
Mhm.
corn and vegetable and soy. They're solvent extracted. They heat it to the point of killing all the nutrients in it. So those are oils that I would never recommend or use.
Okay.
So if you're going to, feed an oil for various and sundry reasons, the first thing to look at is, well, what's the quality of the oil? Is it
Okay.
unrefined? Is it refined? So in the unrefined oil category, flax oil is a great oil. It has high omega-3s, so that's important, particularly for horses that in the winter are not on pasture, or the pasture is dead and doesn't provide any omega-3s. Horses that mostly are getting hay only and feed generally need more omega-3s, so flax oil is a good choice. Remember, any fat that is in oil form is going to be digested more rapidly.
Okay.
So that is a benefit if you need it for energy.
Okay.
Then there are oils like hemp seed oil. That is higher in omega-6 than omega-3, but it has something unique, which is called GLA, gamma-linoleic acid. And GLA regulates the prostaglandins. Those are these hormone-like substances in the body, and they are inflammatory and anti-inflammatory. And in a healthy balance, they just sort of modulate together. And what GLA does is it decreases the pro-inflammatory prostaglandin and elevates the anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
So if you're dealing with like inflammation in the gut, if mares that are cycling and they get really witchy and irritated, you'd want to feed hemp oil. Hemp oil is very good also for humans who get PMS, because again, regulating those prostaglandins.
Okay.
The other oil I really like is camelina oil.
Right.
Camelina is false flax. It's the perfect ratio of omega-3, 6, and 9, and it's a very one of the highest, richest sources of vitamin E. And it's not just alpha tocopherol; it's alpha tocopherol, beta tocopherol, delta tocopherol. So you're getting the family, the vitamin E family, not just an isolated part of vitamin E. And my fourth choice in oils is, of course, our favorite, coconut.
It's the multi-purpose oil.
Coconut does not.
It is.
Yes, it doesn't offer much in the omega-3 category because it's a medium chain fat. So the benefits of it is it contains something called lauric acid, and lauric acid is converted in the body to monolaurin.
Okay.
Monolaurin is a immune regulator. So colostrum, while providing energy for muscles and organs, because it's a medium chain fat, not a long chain fat, it has a great benefit for the immune system. So those are my, go-to oils for horses.
So, but the number one thing is with choosing an oil is understanding why you're choosing it, right? Isn't that a big factor in, like you just described, if it's the winter, which everybody right now is dealing with, and there's not a lot of, grass and stuff. I mean, that's the biggest thing for people to figure out is like how to make that connection, which oil to go for what. I mean, do people change their oils seasonally?
I would say that a lot of people rotate oils.
Mm-hmm.
They may rotate from coconut in the summer to like a camelina in the winter, particularly because hay is pretty low in vitamin E.
Right.
Hemp oil, particularly if you've got inflammation in the gut, particularly if you're dealing with hindgut ulcers. And I think it's a good idea to rotate and change oils.
Okay. So camelina is kind of a that's kind of a
I
good
like it
oil.
better than flax.
Oh,
frankly.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it has that vitamin E component. Yeah.
Right, which is important. Okay.
Which is critical.
Cool. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good information. I think that's will be good for our listeners to hear about different types of oils that they can use and for different reasons and different seasons. But obviously our number one choice is always coconut oil because there's so many uses for it.
Exactly. And it's an awesome, lip balm.
It is.
Perfect.
I know.
Today I'm going to talk about tweaking formulas. I have a compulsion to tweak, adjust, sort of mess with recipes, my GPS, and formulas. I have this nagging little voice in my head that says, this can be better. Everyone at Biostar has become accustomed to my bouts of tweaking. Rick, our general manager, now just sighs when I burst into his office with a great new ingredient or one of my out-of-the-box solutions. I don't doubt that the production team probably grits their collective teeth when I'm out of the room. But it seems everyone at Biostar accepts the fact that no formula or procedure is written in stone. Recently, I reviewed Theracom EQ. As I went down the list of ingredients, I began to question the inclusion of holy basil when the formula also provided ashwagandha. These are two adaptogenic plants that fundamentally are circulatory, endocrine, and glandular body balancers. Both can reduce cortisol, but only ashwagandha can help increase serotonin in the brain. Did Theracom need both? One voice in my brain said, don't mess with success, and I might have abandoned the tweaking at that point, but I kept feeling that Theracom needed more gut support. Then I came across an interesting Ayurvedic plant being used in some horse feeds in England called Haritaki. Haritaki is described in Ayurveda as remover of diseases. It is considered the best plant for the digestive system and the lungs. It has been used in Ayurvedic, Tibetan, and traditional Chinese medicine for thousands of years. In Tibetan medicine, it is known as the king of medicine. And nearly all the Tibetan herbal formulas contain this plant. Haritaki is one of the tridoshic plants in Ayurveda, meaning balancing to the three different body-mind types called doshas. Its long use in animals and humans includes gastrointestinal disorders, particularly ulcers, as well as respiratory disorders. Haritaki is a tree that grows in the sub-Himalayan regions and in all deciduous forests in India. The fruits of the Haritaki tree are used in various Ayurvedic, traditional Chinese medicine, and Tibetan herbal formulas. One of the recent studied phenolic compounds of Haritaki is cibulic acid, a component of tubulinic acid. The Haritaki fruit contains 30% cibulic acid. Published research demonstrated the cytoprotective effects of Haritaki on the gastric mucosa. The wow factor for me in reading this study was that it compared the effects of Haritaki against sucralfate and omeprazole in rats. According to the study, cebulinic acid exerted better protective effect against ethanol-induced gastric lesions in comparison to the reference drug sucralfate. In addition, the study highlighted cebulinic acid influence using inhibition of the proton pump. It showed that cebulinic acid inhibited the proton pump activity comparable to the reference drug omeprazole. The study also highlighted the cytoprotective ability of cebulinic acid by testing its effect against non-steroidal anti-inflammatory induced ulcer models. Cebulinic acid increased mucin content and demonstrated 55.53% protection in aspirin-induced gastric ulcers, with omeprazole demonstrating 58.30% protection. The study concluded cebulinic acid inhibits the formation of gastric lesions in rats by inhibiting acid secretion and through cytoprotective effects. Now Theracom includes this important traditional fruit to support the GI tract of horses. The addition of Haritaki is of particular benefit to horses that are ulcer sensitive and ulcer recurrent. With its cytoprotective properties, Haritaki can increase mucosal protection and reduce gastric mucosal injury and necrosis.
Real horses and real dogs are healthier, perform better, and recover more quickly on real food. That's why Biostar empowers horse and canine owners with 100% whole food nutrition, supplements, and feeding programs. Biostar products are made at their own certified non-GMO facility in Gordonsville, Virginia, using real food ingredients that are raw, freeze-dried, or dehydrated, never cooked, and are free from artificial flavors, colors, soy, corn, wheat, and molasses. The Biostar product line includes a wide range of whole food, horse and dog supplements, treats, and unique artisan poultices that embrace the ancient and traditional uses of clay and plants. Visit biostarus.com today and learn about whole foods and canine and equine nutrition so you can make the best decisions about the care and health of your horses and dogs. That's biostarus.com. Whole food nutrition the way nature intended.
In Coffee Klatch, we are going to talk about funny horse riding stories, of which we have many.
Yes.
So
many.
Patty, what's one of your funny
Well,
riding
at
horse
first
stories?
when you were saying this is what we were going to do, I was like, it always takes me a second, and then just like five just hit me. But one of the most, there's so many memorable ones, but one of the most memorable ones I had was I had bought a very young Nimidor gelding from Holland, and Laurie, you remember Laurie?
Oh, yeah.
And he was a spicy little booger. And I was living at the farm, which was 400 acres of beautiful places to go trail riding, and why not take a horse that just came from Holland into a huge 80-acre field with a big hill, right? And run up the hill and thinking, oh my gosh, and I had been doing hill work with him. It wasn't like I just randomly did. Well, I got to the top of the hill, and one of those buzzards was sitting on the fence, which I did not notice on the way up. Well, as I approached the fence, the buzzard expanded his wings, to which Laurie spun around like nothing I'd ever seen. Because I remember thinking, that's not going to turn out well. And before I knew it, I was going down the hill on a very, very abrupt version of the hill. Like I came up a nice sloping part of it, but the other side was a sheer drop off. And I just remember seriously seeing the scene of Man from Snowy River, where the guy's like running. Have you ever seen that movie where the guy's going straight down this hill and his head's all the way back on the horse's croup? Well, that was me. And I kept thinking, I can't believe this is how I'm going to go. But God, this is fun. Anyway, I ended up fine. But it was a little bit harrowing. But I just remember thinking to myself, that was so much fun, but I will never do that again. Never, ever. So, how about you? Yeah, it was just.
So,
That's pretty funny.
a couple of friends of mine and I made it a sort of a tradition that every January we would go out for a week to this ranch in Arizona called the Circle Z.
I think I know the story.
And we liked to go in January because there weren't a lot of guests. And that meant that because we were all, experienced riders, to say the least, so we got our own Wrangler, right? So then, because we were good riders, we could just go out with the Wrangler and have a good time. And the Wranglers liked us because we could really ride, right? So so we got this Wrangler one year, and his name was Haddo, Haddo, and he thought we were the funniest. It's sort of the cougar young guy thing.
Yeah.
Well, it was against the ranch rules to ride with alcohol, right? 5 days into it, we were great friends with Otto, right? So he said, I'll get some saddlebags and we'll sneak a little tequila. So we go steal some limes from the kitchen, some salt. Otto had the tequila. We sneak it into our saddlebags, and it's a really cold day. I mean, in January, it can get really cold in Arizona, and it probably wasn't much above freezing, at 35 degrees. And we're all dressed in our long, ranch coats, and we get on our horses, and we ride out in the middle of nowhere. And Otto decides it's a good time to have tequila. So we all get off our horses. We pass this shot around, salt, lime. Now, I don't drink. I do not drink alcohol. So give me a shot of tequila. And I couldn't get back on my horse. I fell down.
Oh, no.
I stuck one foot in the stirrup and fell and laid there on the ground, laughing hysterically.
I bet you did.
So I had to have Otto, literally, boost me into the saddle.
Oh, what I would have given.
Yeah, that was the last time I ever drank and rode.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
Yeah. Okay, Jennifer.
All right, Jennifer.
All right, we have a choice of two stories. Will our story involve a fire hose or a turkey?
What?
Well, you have a choice of two stories. Do you want the fire hose story or the turkey story?
Oh,
turkey.
Fire hose. Oh. Okay. I'm up for either one.
All right. Well, I heard turkey first, so I'll tell the story. And this is a group story. This is a Glenn and I story.
Oh God.
And longtime listeners of the Horse Radio Network know that Glenn is not a horse person; he's a horse husband. And he's
a driver.
He's a driver, but he's not a horse person. He's not one of those people that lives to be around horses. He really loves horse people way more than horses. And we went on a vacation to Tennessee a few years back. And for the first time ever in our 25 plus years together, he agreed to do something horsey on vacation. So we found a reputable rent-a-horse-for-a-trail ride outfit in Tennessee in the mountains. And we showed up out there and we boarded our horses, and he got a lovely 5-gated saddlebred, so he didn't have to do any work at all, just hold on to the reins with one hand and the saddle horn with the other. And went for our little trail ride, and we headed out of the establishment, and we had to walk across a small wooden bridge that covered a wash at the base of the mountain. And we weren't out maybe 5 minutes. You could have thrown a rock back to the barn. And as we cross this lovely, picturesque bridge with the sun setting behind us, I hear a woof, woof, woof sound. And there comes a turkey from a tree, and it landed on Glenn's horse's head. Yes, Glenn, the non-rider, is now on a horse with a turkey on his head.
No. No.
I'm not joking. It was a turkey hen, and its feet hit the horse's head on the way to the ground. Luckily, it did not last. It didn't stay there long. And much to Glenn's credit, because I thought, that's it. I was about 50 feet behind him. I thought, well, that's it. We're going to turn around and come home. That's it. Glenn's not going to do this.
Right.
He held it together. I think he might have peed a little bit, but he held it together. He did not scream. And his steady 5-gated saddlebred gelding didn't miss a
Okay,
beat.
that's remarkable.
Didn't
That
miss
is
a beat.
remarkable.
I tried really hard to buy that horse at the end of the trail ride, and he would not give it up.
That's remarkable.
Wow.
So I don't care.
'Cause
I'll
that
ship
just
it to
doesn't
Florida
happen.
from Tennessee. I don't care. I want that horse.
Oh boy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a turkey landed on his head. Swat!
Did
right
you
in the ears.
laugh?
I didn't laugh. I couldn't believe what I was singing. I was just sitting back there in complete and utter disbelief. I didn't.
Oh, I'm sure
No.
you were.
And the guy didn't even know it was happening because he was in front of Glenn, and he didn't see it.
Oh my gosh.
And all this time I was worried, oh my goodness, we're going to see a bear. We had the bear bells, and he had the gun and the whole thing. We're riding in the mountains in Tennessee, bears. No, turkey.
Okay, so you got attacked by a turkey.
Got attacked by a turkey. So if you're going to
Not
be in turkey
everybody can
country,
say
ride a
that.
saddlebred.
No, not everybody can say that. Wow.
There you go. So that's my funny story.
Wow. Okay. That was a good story.
That was a good story.
We'll
Yeah.
we'll save the fire hose one for another time.
I was going to say that. Yeah. Yeah.
So send us your funny stories if you've had a funny experience riding. Let us know.
Yeah.
We
I'm
wanna hear your
sure there's
stories.
some doozies.
Yeah. Absolutely. And speaking of doozies, we have a doozy of a super cool closing today, don't we?
Oh,
And it's coming up soon. So
Stay tuned. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, Biostar US. You can find them online at biostarus.com.
Get the Horse Radio Network phone app on iOS or Android by searching for Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and easy to use.
For details about today's show, go to healthycrittersradio.com, where you can find links, photos, and more information about our guests.
As always, we love your feedback. Please follow us on Facebook under Healthy Critters Radio.
Be sure to visit all the great shows on Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Love your dog.
Hug your horse.
Feed your chickens.
Clean your litter box.
Dance with your goat.
Slither with your snakes.
Howl at the moon.
Hang with your hamster.
Party with your parrot.
Waddle with your walrus.
Outwit your otter.
Cuddle your cow.
Rap with your raptor.
Go chipping with your chipmunks.
And forgive your fox.
While hedging with your hog.
We also recommend that you rack with your raccoon.
Gyrate with your giraffe.
Meditate with a meerkat.
Uber with an orangutan.
Facebook with your flamingo.
Ponder with your panda.
Walk with your Wookiee.
Yawn with your yak.
Dinner with your toucan.
Go raining with your reindeer.
Dropbox your dragon.
Snapchat with your salamander.
Take a selfie with your squirrel.
And FaceTime with your ferret.